Hello and welcome to our 5-minute yoga class for opening up the hips. So we're actually going to start today on our backs. If you'd like to come down slowly, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Just let the knees come open. Now, if this feels too much, grab some blocks, place them underneath your knees, just for a little extra support. You can keep your hands down by your sides, you can keep them on your belly. Completely up to you here. Now, the further in you have your feet, the deeper this is going to feel. So just place them where it feels good. Just take a moment right away here just to notice your body. Notice where it feels tight. Just notice what sensations are going on. Trying to relax your knees, your hips, your belly. And then very slowly, you can use your hands to bring your legs back up. Plant your feet flat on the mat. Pick up the right leg, cross the right ankle over the left knee. Use your right hand just to push the right leg out slightly. Now, if this feels a lot, stay here. If you feel like you need a little bit more, grab behind the left thigh and just bring that shape up towards you. And hold here. Pull it in until you feel a slight stretch and then hold. You're not going until the stretch is kind of unbearable. You're just going to a slight stretch. And then long inhales and exhales. And then releasing the left leg back down. Plant the right foot, other side. Left leg comes up, crosses over the right. Again, use your left hand just to push that left leg away for a minute. Notice how that feels. If you want to stay there, stay there. If you want to grab behind the right thigh, grab behind the right thigh. You can flex your feet so both your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. And holding it here. Trying to make sure that your low back stays on the ground. Try to relax your thighs and your hips as much as possible. And then releasing both of your feet down. Just going to hug your knees in. Grab behind the thighs, tuck your chin, and just rock and roll until you come up to a seated position. And we're actually going to cross your legs, roll all the way over. And then we're going to open up the hips. So I'm just going to slide back a minute. So we're going to bring the knees nice and wide. Now, what I like to do here, because I'm on a hard floor, is to bring them off of my mat so that they can actually slide. Makes it just a little bit deeper. Look back, just make sure your ankles are in line with your knees, and then you can come down onto your elbows. Now, this might feel a lot, and again, if it is, just bring it back in. You can always turn to face the other way so that your knees are on the mat, so that your knees can't slip, okay, if it feels a bit too much. And just hold this for a second. Maybe slowly rocking backwards and forwards, just noticing again where you're feeling that. And then coming back up onto your hands, push into your hands so you take most of the pressure off of your knees. Bring your knees back in. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. And just bicycle out the legs here, bending one knee and then the other. Then looking towards the top of your hands, you're going to step both of your feet to the outsides of your hands and come down into a yogi squat. So I'm going to turn to face you now. If you can get into a yogi squat, you're going to bring your hands to heart center and open your hips. If you find this really difficult, you can always come up higher. If your heels are coming up off the ground, you can roll up a blanket and place something underneath your heels. But the aim is to get your heels flat. Your toes are pointing out to the same direction as your knees, so they're pointing out towards the side. So again, remember, you can always come up higher if you need to. And holding here for a second. I do have a video about squatting, so I will link that up above so you can go and check that out. Then bringing your hands down to the mat, come up into a forward fold. Walk your feet out nice and long, maybe heel toe them out. So you come into a wide-legged forward fold. Now from here, you can just stay where it feels pretty natural and just focus on the forward fold and focus on really releasing the upper back. If you want a little bit more into the hips, plant the hands, take your feet out as wide until you feel a stretch. Okay, so again, it's just a slight stretch. You're not going until, you know, it's unbearable. Slight stretch. Your toes can point out ever so slightly here. Breathe into it. Long inhales and exhales. And then heel toe your feet back in. Come back to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees and come down on top of your knees. Sitting back on your heels. Just take a moment here. If you would like, and if you can lean forward, separate your feet, and then sit your bum back in between your heels. Sometimes it's nice to internally rotate the hips after opening them up. Again, if this feels too much, you can grab a block and sit on a block so that your bum's a little bit higher, or you can just sit on your heels. And we're done for today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this class. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, share it on your Facebook, and I will see you next time.